Yeah, boy, we're starting right now. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Psychic and the Doc with me, Dr. Pat, and my friend and colleague, the most amazing Mark Anthony. Mark, are we ready?
We are. And you know, this is the last day of September. We're on the very threshold of October. A lot of exciting things coming up. And you know, Dr. Pat, I'm going to be on a really amazing show next Tuesday, October 5th at 1 p.m. Pacific. And you may know the show.
It's
called The Dr. Pat Show. and I'm really excited, a little bit nervous, but really excited. So I'll be the guest of Dr. Pat, which is going to be a little bit different, you know, being a guest instead of the co-host. And so I'm really looking forward to that. And, you know, it's auspicious about that day is because of the shortages in COVID, the print version of my new book, Afterlife Frequency, had to be moved back to October 12th. But the publisher is keeping the release date of the audio book on October 5th. And, you know, Dr. Pat, it's a real honor for me to be on your show on October 5th for the audiobook, because October 5th is a very significant day for me. That's the anniversary of my mother's passing.
Wow.
And it will be 15 years to the day. And I remember back in January when the publisher said, okay, we're going to release your book on October 5th. It was like, Mom, I knew it was an example of what I have termed spiritual synchronicity. And the reason that I'm bringing that up is, you know, this is a call-in show tonight, 1-800-930-2819. And I'll be connecting callers with loved ones in spirit. And then Dr. Pat is going to give you her insights, which are extremely important. And I do a lot of shows, and I do a lot of readings. But what makes our show, Dr. Pat, so unique is that they get the benefit of your wisdom. Because a lot of times when people are getting a reading, you know, they're nervous, they're caught up in the moment, they're not seeing things objectively, and they don't have a world-class, world-renowned psychologist to say, maybe you should look at it like this. And so that is the synergy that is the Psychic and the Doc.
Wow. So well said. And you know what I love about it is we also mix a little fun in there and a little humor. I was just looking today, I had somebody on my show who was talking about, well, you know, what's going on with the planets, and all these planets are in retrograde and all. And I said, you know, I think people have a total misunderstanding about retrograde. I said, you know, it doesn't mean the same thing for everybody. And I said, you know, we're moving into October, and you know, we're coming into this surge for the end of the year, which I love to talk about. But despite anything you may think about astrology, there's a sense of optimism, there's a sense of expansiveness, and yet there's still a sense of anxiety and fear. It's a very interesting energy, Mark.
Yeah.
I tried to remember, somebody said to me, when was the last time you can you think, Pat, when was the last time you remembered something like this? And I had to think back and I thought, well, wait a minute. I did a whole thing in New York, 9/11. No, that wasn't it. Nope, that wasn't it, because that was an event. And of course, people were traumatized. I
Yeah.
couldn't think of a time. I couldn't think of a time on a global level. And, my friend said, do you think it's like something like previous wars? I said, no, I don't think it's like a war. I said, I think we feel like it's like a war, but it's an interesting energy. I think, and the guy said to me, if you had to pick a word that represents the past transmutation of people's energy in the past 22 months, what would it be? I said, that's a tricky question. I think the first word that comes to me is gratitude, but I'll tell you, it's really tied with humility. I said, for me personally, I think that when I think about, I thought I had humility down. And I said to him, but humility coupled with gratitude is powerful. It's literally the 5G effect of energy transformation. And I think that's part of today's show. It's being humble enough to know that we are human beings in the world, that we really can care for each other. I did a show the other day with a gentleman that wrote a book on autism, and he had a power failure, and he's going to come back. But I got to read from his book. And I realized in reading from the book, one of the things I grew up with is that my life's message for myself has always had to be in front of people that wanted to tell me who I was, how I was, what kind of diagnosis I had. It was, yeah, I'm different, but I'm also equal. And I think that's the message today, Mark.
I'm different, but equal. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I truly believe there's an old Islamic saying that Allah delights in a wondrous variety. And it's no coincidence that we're all different. I mean, think how boring life would be if we were all the same, like a school of fish. We'd be the same size, same color, react to things the same way. It certainly would make things more predictable and maybe, in a sense, more efficient. But what a loss there would be. Mm-hmm. And so I think that it's important to acknowledge that we are all different, but because we are all different, mm-hmm. does not make anyone better than someone else, because we all have our parts to play. We're all pieces of a much larger puzzle. So I really like that. Yeah, different but equal.
And one of the things that also I want to talk with you about, we've got a lot of callers waiting to call into the show. This is a live call-in show. And it's a live call-in show, really, because what we love to do is be able to connect with you, Mark, and then connect with themselves. That's the part I love to do. There's a part of us that can connect with the esoteric and what we don't see, but there's also that energy within us, and sometimes we fail to look at it. How many planets in retrograde? I don't know. There's a lot. Is it going to really ruin your life? No, it's not, unless you give it that kind of power. But anything that's in retrograde will give you a moment to think. If you're somebody like me and you're Mark doing a book tour, maybe retrograde is good. Because maybe Mark will remember when to eat.
Retrograde is also, let's take it on a more planet Earth level. Retrograde, moving backwards. Maybe sometimes it's okay to take a moment to reflect on where we've been before we take a step forward to where we're going.
Yeah.
And that I don't mean, and by saying that, I don't mean living in the past, because, as a psychologist, and I know as a medium, that so many of us get caught up in the traumas of the past. I mean, it's very easy to do things that happened to us when we were children. I know that you had a very difficult childhood, and when we lose loved ones, we tend to get caught up in living in that, and that's part of who we are, that pain and that adversity and that fear. We talked a lot about in September about fear, but these are also things that help shape us on the journey to where we are now. So while we cannot live in the past, we can retrograde, we can reflect on what did I learn from that?
Yeah.
How have I grown? And that's a large part of what we're doing on this show, is helping people cope with these traumas of the past, by presenting evidence, presenting insights. Now, when I say insights, we're not telling you, like when spirits come forward and they tell me something medical about someone, or they make a dietary suggestion or whatever, I'm presenting that. What you do with that information is up to you. So I'm glad that you brought that up, Dr. Pat, because retrograde is not necessarily a bad thing. Oh my God, Mercury's in retrograde. Thankfully, Adolf Hitler believed that Mercury was in retrograde because there was an engagement with the Russians. I think it was the Battle of Kursk, and he refused. It was the largest land battle in history, 900,000 Germans versus 1 million Russians.
Oh my God.
No, we cannot do this because Mercury is in retrograde. So we have to wait till that's done. And his generals are chomping on the bit. Well, I'm so glad that he did that, because the Russians whooped his butt from here to, from whatever. So retrograde, not always a bad thing.
Well, listen, we're going to take a short break because we got a bunch of people waiting on the phone. And when we go to break, when we come back, we're going to hit the phones and be able to hopefully get everybody in here. These may be shorter readings today because we do have so many people, but this show is for you. And here's the good news. I want to leave you with this, Jacob, this is for you. I want to leave you with this. The new moon, October 6th, amazing. It is a new moon. It is a new moon in Libra. It is a fresh start. But for those of you out there that are thinking about October 6th and 7th, here's what I want to say. Look out, because you're going to be getting lucky in love with Venus and Sagittarius. So forget about the retrograde. Focus on the new moon and Venus and Sagittarius, and look out, folks. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
I'm Mark Anthony, author of The Afterlife Frequency. But don't expect a dry treatise. This book educates, entertains, and reads like a juicy novel.
Joining us today is psychic lawyer Mark Anthony. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I don't think there's another person on the planet anywhere who shares this guy's resume.
He's been on Coast to Coast, the radio show with me for years. He's a psychic lawyer, but he's the real deal.
This book also provides hope in coping with grief, crime, murder, PTSD, and survivor's guilt. Part of being human involves contact with spirits, whether it's through a medium, during a dream, a deathbed vision, or a near-death experience. All these types of interdimensional communication occur when the energy of the human soul aligns with the afterlife frequency. The afterlife frequency teaches you my 4-step raft technique. Recognize spirit contact, accept it as real, feel it without fear, and trust the message.
Hey, everybody, super. It's so great to have you back. We're going to go right to the phones. But before we do, Mark, would you just let folks know? I mean, we talked about the audiobook and the book, but we didn't tell people how they can get these things. You might want to tell them that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, if people want to book a private reading with me, and I invite you also to sign up for my newsletter and to find out about getting my new book, The Afterlife Frequency. Please visit my website, which is afterlifefrequency.com. I wanted to make it easy. So it's one stop. You have to remember different websites. Afterlifefrequency.com. You can sign up for a reading, sign up for my newsletter to find out upcoming media appearances. And this Saturday night, October 2nd at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Mountain, and 7 p.m. Pacific. I'm conducting an evening of spirit communication online, sponsored by brightlive.com. And you can find out about that by visiting my website, afterlifefrequency.com. Thank you, Dr. Pat.
I love it. I'm going to tell you something. This moon, we didn't have time to chat about it, but we're going to get to the calls in a hot second. Just give us a minute. It's a great moon. Our Jessica is a Libra. This is the best Libra month. OMG. Like, it's the best Libra energy I've seen people write about in a long time. It's like the best. And so a friend of mine said, Pat, Sagittarius, who cares? We don't care about that. But read Libra. And I said, okay, that's Jessica. And I think this is the kind of good news that we like to bring. See, the lunation is all about you, Libra. And what it says, Mark, this is what I love about some of this astrology. The people I listen to is like, okay, great. It's all about me. What do you want me to do? Like, do I make meatballs? What do I do? And it's telling us, and especially if your moon and your sign line up, it is Libra. What you got to do is you got to jump in the front seat. You got to get ready to steer the ship, because you're a lawyer, so right. The justice, right? The balance,
Libra
right?
is the
Libra
scales,
like
the balance. Yeah.
This is like no. You got to jump in the front seat. You got to ready to steer the new moon. So it's saying Libra, maybe you want to bounce. No, you got to steer the moon. You got to do the moon. Get the directions of your dream. And instead of indulging in your fear or of failure, or worrying about what others will think about you're ambitious, focus on building up your confidence and shooting for the stars. This is your time to shine. This is your time to shine.
All right. It looks like we've got our caller now, if you'd like to take him.
All right.
All right. Hey there, Hugh.
You? Yeah, you. Hi, welcome to the show. You're on the Psychic in the Dock and you're live.
Hi, thank you so much. I feel blessed that you took my call. I would love to see what you pick up, and in listening to you starting the show, I actually authored a poem titled Gratitude with Humility, which I can read if you like.
I gotta tell you, that is, gratitude and humility are both the blessings in my life right now, and they've been my greatest teachers, right? But let us take care of you first.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to see what Anthony might pick up on my energies, and also I have so many bizarre synchronicities. My mother would turn 100 on October 7th this year. She passed in 2011, and I wanted to ask if he also.
All right, hold on.
Yeah,
Hugh.
Get ready. Okay. Hugh. Here we go.
Hugh, also for not just your benefit and everybody else's, when you engage in spirit communication, remember, it's not a list to give to Santa Claus about what you want. Okay, so we have to be open to what comes through. And there's technical reasons for that deal with energy. But since you mentioned your mom, I'm getting a feeling that we have a mom energy coming in. Let me see what we've got here. Okay, female energy coming through, and I'm getting now the female energy that I'm picking up. Before we jump to the conclusion that it is your mom, let me describe what I'm getting, because it could be somebody else connected to you. But I'm getting renal failure, which is kidney problems, kidney issues. I'm also getting this intense sense of dehydration through my body. This would indicate to me that prior to passing, that this woman was very heavily sedated. She was under medical treatment, could be hospice as well, because the intense thirst is indicating that she wasn't eating or drinking. And I get the sense that her stomach was empty. I still get the renal failure, and I'm getting an icy cold sensation, which is an indicator of circulation problems. In fact, Hugh, I can barely feel my legs or my feet. I'm also getting that her mental clarity I do feel that she was being made very comfortable. So that indicates that she was being medicated. And now I get this icy sensation in my fingers, which is another indicator of the circulation. And it was no surprise that this woman was going to pass, because I'm feeling her heartbeat just slowing, and then letting go. And this is consistent with a ventricular fibrillation, which means that her the electrical system in her heart was weakening and giving out. So even though she had the circulation and the renal failure, her actual passing was very peaceful. Does this make any sense to you?
It makes total sense. That's my Earth Angel wife, who I was blessed with for 35 and a half years, and her twin sister gave her home hospice. She was scheduled to go to a hospice place, but she passed the day they were going to take her there.
Okay, so this is your life partner?
Yes, my Earth Angel wife.
Oh, okay. She said, "Shall we dance? Shall we dance?" What was that song? What was that? That I saw that movie a long time ago with Yul Brynner, where he was the king of Thailand. Isn't that where they had "Shall We
It's
Dance"?
The King and I.
The King and I.
Yeah.
Well, isn't "Shall We Dance"? Because did you guys used to dance a lot, like ballroom dancing, or was there something about that particular play? I keep getting "Shall we dance? Shall we dance?" It's like a real elegant type of dance, like she's taking your hand and doing this whole ballroom dancing thing.
Yeah, she was absolutely fantastic, and she loved to dance.
Perfect. All right, so we got her here. Let's see what she wants you to know. She said, "You're starting to smile again, Hugh. You're starting to smile again." And she said, that was one of the first things that she noticed about you. She said, first, it was the look in your eye. And she said, secondly, it was your smile. And it's funny because the way she says, you don't have like one of these Pepsodent, toothpaste commercial smiles that are like this. You've got kind of this quirky smile that she just absolutely loved. Does that make any sense?
Perfect.
Yeah. So she said that, Hugh, you were cute as a button then, you're cute as a button now. I'll tell you guys really got along good, because I get all this really happy, warm and fuzzy feelings. This is nice. No unresolved issues. No, oh, I wish I would have said this, or I can't believe you said that. There's none of that. This is like absolutely beautiful, Hugh. And she's telling me that you have gotten so diverse in your interests. And right now she's like, you're busier than ever. And you got like all these projects going on at once. And she loves it. She said, a busy mind is a happy mind. Keep your mind busy, Hugh, because you always were happy, but now you're happier because you're keeping yourself busy.
Wow.
Make sense?
Perfect sense. And again, I'm here on a huge mission and vision. I'd love to help validate both of you and help you with your work once you are able to determine who I am or bear.
Wow. Well, I have to tell you, I love when Mark does a reading like this, because the energy that I was talking about for October, Mark just beautifully expressed. It is an energy that is very difficult to define, but when love is involved, and Libra is not the love side, but because of the way things are lining up here, we are all being asked to step forward and acknowledge that each of us is unique, and yet each of us is lovingly equal. Thank you for calling in. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
All right, Jacob.
Thank you, Bert.
All righty, we're going to head over to San Diego, and we've got Allison on the line.
Hi, Allison. Welcome to the Psychic and the Doc. You are live.
Hey, Allison, what can we help you with?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hey there. How can we help you today?
Hoping to connect with loved ones.
All right. That's Mark.
Okay. I'm getting a male energy coming through now. What's interesting, when I talk about levels, if I say they're your level, that's your generation, like brother, sister, cousin, spouse, friend, below your level, child, niece, nephew. And the thing is, Allison, I'm feeling a male energy on what I call a lower level. So that could mean one of two things. This could be somebody on your child, niece, nephew level, or it could be some male that you knew when you were younger. And I do see him trying to get a fix on his age. Maybe a teenager, maybe a little bit younger. So it could have been like, anywhere from like 12 to like 15. And what I'm getting with him is I'm getting this impact sensation to my head, and then I'm getting this feeling like he was in the fetal position. So I'm wondering if there could have been some type of injury, possible trauma, head trauma, but this could also indicate something possibly like a brain tumor. Because different maladies have a similar physical sensation to me. Because what I get, Allison, is that this young man did not die immediately, that I feel like he's in the fetal position and non-responsive for quite some time prior to passing. I know this is pretty specific, but this is what I'm getting. Does any of this resonate with you?
And that age group, it does not right now. My sons were a little bit older than that.
All right, you have a son who passed?
Two of them.
Two of them? Okay. Let's not worry at this point about the age group. Let's go with the head trauma, the fetal position, the non-responsiveness prior to passing.
Okay. One of them was in ICU for 6 weeks. He did not pass right away.
There we go. Okay.
One of them. Okay.
Go ahead. And first off, Allison, please, when I get into a reading and I connect with the spirit, sometimes I tend to be very clinical and I'm focusing on the evidence. Please let me first express my condolences. Yeah. No mother should lose a child. Yeah. No mother especially should lose two children. So please, and I know Dr. Pat feels the same Absolutely. Way. So I want to focus on, did one of your sons, you said one of them was in ICU for like 6 weeks. And don't give me the details about the other one. Was he in a similar situation? Because if not, I want to focus on the male energy that I'm getting that is in this fetal position, which is an indication that he was in ICU.
Yes, the other one passed immediately. So
okay, so I have one son here, and we got the other one waiting in the wings. All right, hold on. Wow, all of a sudden I see bees everywhere. Bees. It was somebody allergic to bees, or does somebody have a name that may start with the letter B, or is there something about the creature a bee or honey which might make sense to you in any way? And the reason I go through that is that one image could have several different meanings or any combination thereof.
Oh my gosh, my mind is racing. I can't.
That's okay.
That doesn't resonate.
Hold on. When you think of a bee, like a bumblebee, what comes to mind? Don't worry about my interpretation. We go with yours because the reading's about you. I'm just the conduit.
When I think of a bumblebee, the first thing that comes to mind are the flowers.
Okay. All right. Flowers. Now, is there something with you and it smells like jasmine? I'm getting jasmine, really strong jasmine. Does this make any sense? The scent jasmine.
It's one of my favorites.
That's a yes. Okay, so when a spirit gives us a message of an explanatory advisory nature, which he's letting you know that this is him, okay, and then follows up with an objectively verifiable fact, jasmine is one of your favorite scents, okay? Now, the other son just popped in, and I'm getting impact sensation to my head. Now, I know that you told me that he died quickly, but the impact sensation to my head is an indicator that this male passed very quickly. And I do taste a lot of blood. This doesn't always mean a bleed out. This could be an internal hemorrhage as well. But I do feel impact to my head specifically. Was there head trauma involved with him?
Yes, there was. He broke his neck diving. There was no blood. The first one had internal bleeding. They might be getting themselves mixed up.
No, it's not mixed up. It's in my book, The Afterlife Frequency. I write about that. their pure energy and their vibrational frequencies are overlapping, interfacing with me, and communicating through me to you. So we've got both your sons here, okay? And this is really beautiful because I know that you like flowers, but they're holding up. See, I don't know if you have visual on this, but I'm holding up my hands and I'm visualizing a water lily in my hands, and the water is flowing through my hands. So there could be something about the name Lily, or there could be something specifically about a water lily, and they want to give this to you. And it's just, I just am resonating with so much love and peace. And that's what they want you to know. They said, Mom, we're just fine. Hey, are you getting some back pain? Because they're focusing on you and my back's kind of hurting.
Yes.
Okay, that's an indicator they're around you and aware of what's happening because they're acknowledging the back pain. What about water lilies?
What comes to mind when I hear that is the water lily symbol I'm sorry. Never mind. That's the lotus. I was thinking of yoga.
Well, that's okay. Water lilies and lotus, they're very similar. I mean, they're both beautiful flowers that grow in water, and they have a similar type of appearance. And remember, your interpretation is more important than mine. So go with you were saying yoga. How does that make sense?
I just kind of let it go. I haven't been really interested in taking care of myself.
So what do you think your sons are telling you?
Mom, get your head back in the game.
Dr. Pat?
Yeah. And you know, again, thank you so much for calling in. You know, there aren't words to really express the emotion and the love on this call. We can come up with words because we got language, so we do that. But that's not actually what's happening now. What's happening with you joining us here today, I think, is just pure light. And I mean LIGHT, pure light, and pure light is love. And I think that's why both sons were able to come through, number one. Number two, a mutual exchange of love. You know what I'm saying? To you, from you. And when people that love us, care for us, they will get to us in whatever way they can. And so now you got the message loud and clear. So let me ask you one quick question. What will this information lead you to do? And do you feel you can continue to get guidance from them as you go?
I do feel I can continue to get guidance, and I'm on the cusp of a major life decision right now, and I think I'm going to go for it because it's something I've always wanted to do, and I feel like I need to do that for myself.
Dr. Pat, you were just talking about this is the
time
of year. Go for it.
You know what my signature question is, right? It's been on my show for 18 years. Right? What would you do if you knew you could not fail? See, I love that. Everybody in the New Thought community has always wanted me to change that question. They wanted me to make it well, what would you do if your life would be positive? No, that's not my story. But what you just said, and the way I described, I don't know if you heard it earlier, about the Libra energy, jump into the pool. You have everything you need to do that. You know that, right? You have everything you need to do it. Plus the energy that is really holding you up and raising you up. And, you know, isn't this interesting? Without telling us about what this life transformation is, whenever we make a major decision or we have a life transformation, I'm telling you, I just bought myself, okay, I'm going through an expansion with the company and the network, right? If I am not in good shape to do that, I don't have to ask the question, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? My body wouldn't be able to take care of it. See, the universe provides us with an energetic force field for expansion. And sometimes you get a reading with Mark and you connect with loved ones that remind you of how perfectly capable you are, magnificent you are. But if you're like me, you better go get yourself like a Bowflex elliptical, and I'm not associated with Bowflex. So let me just say elliptical. You better go get yourself something. Don't put it in the dang back room where you're never going to use it. Hello?
Other than to hang laundry on
Put it in your Don't put it in your garage with the ping pong table. That's not going to work. So you're getting all the messages.
Right.
Now, what will it take you to take action on your own behalf? That's my last question for you. And then I don't want to take any more of your time. What will it take for you to take action?
I just need to move forward with my plan. I've already got it down on paper. I've been praying about it, and I think I'm going to do it.
Okay, I got to help you 1 minute though. Can I help you a minute? I'm sorry, Mark, taking up a little time, but I got to help you. This is not just for you, this is for everybody. So I'm fired up right here now. Okay, so I want to tell you what's happened over the past 22 months. The past 22 months have brought in the I think energy. It's not a bad thing. Thinking is good. We're now in the I am energy. I am taking action. Can you make that shift today? Can you go from I think I will, or can you go from I think to I am?
Yes, absolutely. And I thank you both so much.
Can you say it? Amazing. Would you mind saying it just for me?
I am going to do this.
Woohoo!
You, baby. You made my day. I'm going to get on that elliptical today. Allison.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. That message was for a lot of people. See, when people like Allison call in and you call in, we're really tapping into their energies and others' energies, but this is a universal broadcast. This is universal wavelengths. Yes. This is energy and communication.
Yes. And that was also an example of what I've termed collective consciousness communication. Because even though I was doing a reading for Allison, that universal message applies to a lot of people. So for the callers and the listeners, even if you don't get a personalized reading or the insights of Dr. Pat, if what is being conveyed touches your heartstrings and resonates with you, that is the nature of collective consciousness communication from the other side. So I don't want to take up too much time explaining that because we had other callers.
And may I pick a word for today for this show? Because it's hit me right in the heart. Courage. Courage. I love our audience. Let's go, Jacob.
All right.
Go to phones?
We're headed to Napa and we have Allison.
Is that like Napa in California?
That's right.
It's like Napa Valley.
I love Napa Valley. It's so beautiful.
Hello?
Hey, welcome. You're live on the Psychic and the Doc from Napa Valley, right? Or is it just Napa?
Yes, from Napa Valley.
Cool.
How are you?
We'd love to help you. We're doing good.
Okay, I don't need a ton of help, but I just have a question. Mark, you always say that contacting the other side is not like texting or instant messaging. Do you think one day it will be?
Yes. Sorry, Mark.
No, go right ahead, Dr. Pat.
Okay. I don't know. Did you mean that? Okay, I got to ask Mark the same question. Can I just jump in on your question? Do you mind if I do that?
Sure.
Okay. So you didn't mean that literally, right? Because the idea of texting is a physical thing, but the energetic connection of texting, and I mean energy, we're in what? 5G? I mean, energy of 5G. I worked for the phone company when I was sitting around a conference room and they were saying, oh, women are not going to want caller ID. And I'm like, what? And the guy looked at me, the president of the company says, well, you're the only woman here. What do you think? You're not going to want caller ID. You're not going to want to know who people are. I said, are you kidding? I want to know who's calling me. Are you not going to do caller ID? You're crazy. We went from a flip caller ID environment to a quantum physics experience.
Yes. Exactly. And that's what I write about. What it is, Allison, the reason that I say that texting, I mean, the spirit communication isn't texting or instant messaging, because people come into a reading with their list of what they want from Santa Claus. I want to know this, this, and this. Okay. Spirit communication is interdimensional communication, and we're living in the material world, and our universe, our world has a lower, slower vibration than the higher vibration of this other dimension. And so when they're communicating with us, frequencies are being lowered from the other side and increased from our side to get a frequency match. So we have an interphase of frequency, and concepts are being emitted and transferred. So when a spirit is communicating with me, they're transmitting an electromagnetic impulse, and the spirit's energy field interfaces with the energy field of my brain. And that impulse then gets converted into recognizable concepts based on my memories, feelings, and cultural associations. That's why I'll get sensations. I'll smell things. I'll get visions. I may hear parts of a song. I may hear somebody's voice, as opposed to, okay, I want to know the lottery numbers and give them to me right now. Okay, and that's what the difference is. So I hope that answers your question, because, people are like, well, why don't you give me the lottery numbers? Let me tell you something. If I could just dial up the other side and get the lottery numbers, I'd do it for myself. But the thing is, and I've asked, and I got this response where I feel they're laughing at me. And first off, spirits couldn't give a fig about material wealth in our world. And secondly, that's not what it's about. And thirdly, unless it's part of what my life is supposed to be and happen in it, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And let me jump in with my answer and why I said yes. Here's where I am. I'm right there with Mark. So I live on another planet most of the time. Actually, I've actually had.
She does. It's true.
I've had that in performance reviews. My corporate life, they would put that in a performance review. So when you asked the question and my answer was yes, here's where I went. We are using basically not even 8% of our brain. Some people say, oh, we're at 9 and 10. All right, I don't know those people. But we're not even there. The other thing is, we have yet to understand how absolutely capable we are. We actually have a mindset that, I think I interviewed Uri Geller. We actually have a mindset that you calling into the show and me sitting over here cannot telepathically communicate. See, we have that mindset that we can't. But my answer to you was a resounding yes. Do you know why I answered yes to you? Because I do believe you believe that.
Why?
I do believe you believe that. I do believe you believe that we are all capable of forms of communication that our human language cannot yet talk about. Why do you think we're so hooked on any movie that comes out that has anything to do with futuristic, technical, techno-galactica, anything right now? Because we are seeing our future. I don't know. I didn't want to project on you. But my sense is,
okay, no.
Somewhere inside of you, you do believe that there's a form of communication that we can have that is yet to be defined, that is not even texting, because texting will become outdated very soon. It's not even texting. It is communicating in a form of messaging that is so energetically powerful that the word texting will become archaic. I don't know if you believe that. Do you?
I do.
Is that what you call verifiable something there, Mark?
Verifiable fact following message. See, I think what's coming are the Borg implants, where they're just going to start implanting, we'll all be part of the high. Oh, wait, that's Star Trek. Anyway, never mind.
Do you have another question for Mark or for me? And that, by the way, I love that question, because what it did open up. First of all, let me tell you what it did. It opened up a conversation that piggybacked a conversation I had yesterday about autism and being on the spectrum, and talking about how we sometimes stigmatize people. And Mark would have been one of those people. If Mark would have been alive 100 years ago and be trying to do this, he'd be locked up.
Yeah.
So we're evolving. Yeah. We're evolving. Your consciousness about this has evolved. don't give up the belief, even if they keep producing flip phones. Okay. Just don't give up that. How else can we help you though?
Is there anything coming through for me?
That's for you, Mark.
Yeah, no. The reason I'm sorry, I go off into the space because I'm connecting. And sorry, Michael. Look, I know we all know somebody named Michael, but the name Michael is flooding my mind, and that could be somebody on the other side, or it could be somebody close to you in this world. But here's how and why I'm getting Michael. Having been raised in the Catholic faith, I get a lot of images of saints and angels, and I'm getting an image of Archangel Michael and images of angelic entities. So this could mean that someone connected to you that likes angels or images of angels, or somebody connected to you of significance, either this world or the other side, by the name of Michael. Okay, and yes, we all know somebody named Michael, but Michael keeps like beating me on the head. Does that resonate with you in any way, Allison?
I have a friend named Michael who lives in Iowa who's visiting tomorrow, actually. So
bingo. Okay, so I love how that works. Okay, is there a grandmother that may have had a name like Etta or Greta, or Gretel or Greta, or some type of name like that connected to you?
Nothing like, not really. My dad's adopted, so I have 3 grandmothers. One's Evelyn. That's close enough. Evelyn, Audrey, and Carol.
No. I don't want to stretch to make it fit. I keep getting like a Greta or a Gretel, like that. Because I'm getting a grandmother figure that does feel like she's connected to you through your mother's side of the family.
Is it Gloria?
Oh, Gloria,
No.
Gretel, it's in the ballpark. I'll take a 0.5% yes on that one, or 50% yes. Okay.
I'll give you a half on it.
Are you eating? I hate to say this, but she's showing you like, are we hitting the junk food a bit too much lately?
No, I don't think so. I think I've been eating okay lately.
Interesting. So remember, your interpretation is more important than mine. Maybe when Michael's coming, there's going to be a temptation to indulge in a lot of forbidden fruit, shall we say. And Grandma's saying, let's be, well, hold on. It doesn't necessarily, see, get your mind out of the gutter so mine can float by.
Okay.
No, but but what I mean is that could be an indicator that maybe you guys are going to indulge like in some foods and things like that. She wants you to stay on track with what you're doing with your health habits. Okay. Because there's something about junk food, and maybe that was something going on in your past which you've separated from, but she's reiterating that for you. I want to let that maybe go ahead.
When Mike comes to town, he likes us to do Molly together, and I really didn't want to do that, but he's never here.
What's
so
Molly?
Maybe that's what she's talking about.
You think?
Is Molly as in the drug Molly?
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you.
Oh, wait,
maybe
okay,
that's what we're talking about.
See, I'm thinking like there's a fast food place named Molly. You talking about Molly the drug? All right, look, I'm Catholic and an attorney and a medium. I know guilt when I hear it. Okay, all right, let's X-nay on the Ollie May. Okay, don't do that stuff. Don't do that stuff. Because I remember when ecstasy was real popular, and I'm sure that it still is, 2% of the people in the world are allergic to ecstasy. Well, people say, well, that doesn't sound very bad. You know what the allergic reaction to ecstasy is? Death. It shuts down your central nervous system and you go into cardiopulmonary failure. And I'm sorry, but the way I'm sensitive to so many things, I would probably be one of those 2%. And so there is a reason that your grandmother is reaching out and saying, So I will leave that with you and Dr. Pat.
I'm just going to tell you, why you called in, and this is the question you wanted to answer. And the answer for you is I don't know how to say it. Absolutely not. Don't even think about it. Unthinking.
You know, I really didn't want to, so now I have an excuse to tell him no.
No, you do. And, I'm going to tell you, if you call me, I can give you a lot of no's around this. I mean, especially with my history around this topic, I will tell you, if you want to live in a few minutes of just completely unpredictability and put your future in something that could be so disastrous for you. And this is the uncertainty around what we're talking about. I just want to drop this in and then we'll go. The uncertainty now in the world we live in the drug trafficking and drug world, is that once upon a time, way long ago, people could get purity of things. Not saying you should do it, everybody, but now everything's being cut, it's being split. Even if it wasn't, my answer to you is no, and don't let me come get you.
Yes. And you know what, as a former prosecutor and former drug defense attorney,
she
Dr.
deserves
Pat
better.
hit the bullseye on that one, because there was a time when drugs were pure, and now they're cutting them with all these very, very trashy chemicals and things. Look,
I just want to say to her, can I tell you something just real quick? You deserve better. You deserve better for yourself. And you're enough. There's not a hallucinogenic or a drug that's going to help you. You're already enough.
Yep. Yeah. And
I know we've done it before and had a beautiful time, but you're so right about you never know what's in there these days. So
yeah, you ever sit at a crap table and decide you've got all your money from your bank account and you've thrown the dice twice and you did really well, and you're going to take every dollar you've ever earned, like maybe it's like a couple 100,000, and you're going to put it on that table and you're going to pick up the dice. What do you think is going to happen with that probability?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to anyway. Is there time for one quick more question?
Well, you know what, though? We've got other people that we need to get to. So
I don't think we'll be able to. I don't think we have time.
And tell us about your non-Molly weekend. Many blessings.
And if you don't call in, so let me tell you, if you don't call in, we already know the answer.
Yeah.
Right, Mark?
That's right.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to call next week and tell you guys I was good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you got to do it, please. Okay, we have a really short few minutes left.
Let's see if we can. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, and thank you for the Facebook comment. My husband's grandmother is Etta. My granddaughter is Etel. Thank you for sending that in. Thank you for your comments in Facebook. Thank you, Jacob, for letting us know. Hit us with somebody, if you could, Jacob.
Alrighty, we got a few minutes left, and we've got Ashley from Elk Grove, California.
Hi, Ashley. I'm sorry this is going to be short, but please call in next week. How can we help you?
Hi, Ashley.
Hello?
Ashley, it's really you. You're live on a Psychic in the Dock, and we got basically 3 minutes. How can we help
Ashley,
you?
you're burning time. How can we help you?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. I had been feeling like I needed to get a reading done for the last few weeks. And so I just wanted to see what he was able to pick up for me.
Okay, take yourself off speakerphone if you could.
Yeah, I can't do it with that type of distortion. It's like
that's okay.
What it is, as a medium, I'm hypersensitive to frequency.
Okay.
It's like someone came up and just stabbed me in the ears.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Screwdrivers.
I love everybody. So Ashley, you really want a little reading?
Okay. Sorry, I had my son in my lap.
I know you do. It's okay. Sons are okay. Mark, can you help? Can you help for a minute?
I can't get anything. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can't
so
get anything.
Can you do it? Can you call in next week? Would you mind doing that? Did we lose her, Jacob?
Nope, she's still on the line.
Yes.
Can you call in next
that's
week?
No problem.
Yeah, and we'll make sure Jacob will, if you call in a few minutes early, we'll make sure we get you in the show. And what's your son's name?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think it's okay. I love this. So 3 things I want to say, and then let's kick it in. One, whenever a show like this is done, and I think you talk about this in the book, in your new book, Mark.
Yes.
There's a frequency that happens, and we have built equipment in our network because we do shows like this.
Right.
And we know, like Zoiper crashing, the only way something like that goes down is when you have 10 callers on the line, everybody with the energy, and Mark is trying to, and that first caller just opened up all of our hearts.
Yeah.
Mark, what you do is beautiful. I am always in awe of you. Just total awe. I can't wait to talk with you about the book. I love that you did an audio version. Thank you. What's your personal message, Mark? What do you want to leave us with today?
You know, I'm going to echo what you said, Dr. Pat, because I'm in awe of you. I just love your perspective on everything, that now is the time to take that chance. And, you know, the fear comes from the ego. Our soul is only housed by the brain. The ego is created by it. And the ego always tells us we're not good enough, we're not smart enough. And then it tempts us with the promise of something we already have. Cast that aside. Now's the time to take the chance for that new venture in your life. That's what I believe the message is tonight that we're coming through. We're guiding us and all the listeners. So that's what the message is tonight.
Thank you, Mark. And one of the things I just want to say to people, I had a person call me and ask me, are you guys going to continue the show? Now, here, I don't know where the idea of not continuing the show came from. We're continuing it. It's a combination of live call-ins. We're also going to have interviews. You all have told us who you want us to talk with. We're here for everybody. And I want you to thank you so much for being here for us. Namaste, everybody. I think I said that with like a New York accent, like namaste. Did I do that? Thank you, everybody. Jacob, you rock.
Yo, namaste.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.